everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are looking at my project bags and we're going to make one together, and I will do a future video on my adaptations of that as well. But this is one of my project bags that will make something similar today. This is tulip pink fabric, and this was a fabric I got from one of the other Etsy shops. Love the look of that, the contrast of the purple with the blacks, but there's so many purples and pinks in this, it kind of just blends really well, and the blues, things like that. So, and the contrasting yellow as well, just brilliant. And it's fully lined, and there's no seams showing, so I'll show you how we do that in a bit. And then we have a Lottie with Lottie one, which when I was making it I did have to end up trimming quite a lot of it off because there was drama. But it's still an A4 size, still very usable, and I love the colours again. Tulip pink again. In fact, I think this is her True Colours range, and I had it gifted to me for Mother's Day a couple of years back, and I have been scared to use them because I'm one of these that doesn't like to cut pretty fabrics. And I think, what's the point in having your pretty fabrics if you're not going to use them? So I finally found a project that I wanted to make something with. So this is another one, Lottie with Lottie. This is definitely mine because I've already stained it. So I stuck on a HTV She Is Strong, Fierce, Brave, Full of Fire, just because I loved the sentiment, and you know, every now and again you need a little reminder of how strong and amazing you are. There's this one, which again I absolutely love, and you know, must have a yellow obsession at the minute because yellow contrast on everything, but it looks like it fits just really well with those top yellow stars, so I did that with that one. My little logo there. And the last one, again, just beautiful. I just love this fabric, and if I could buy reams of it I would. But on this one I added a little sewing machine embellishment, a little hook clip thing for I don't know, maybe, why can't I think of anything that you would put on a sewing bag, anything that you need really. And then I got little scissor embellishment for the zipper as well. So this is one of my this is a couple of my project folders, and I'll show you how I make those now. So here we have our A piece, which is the 10 by 14.5. We have our B piece, which is 12 by 14, and we have our C piece, which is 2.5 by 14.5. Okay, so that's your 3 pieces from your first fat quarter. You've also got some scrap leftovers, which you can use any way you want. So I've done a bit of binding there, which we're going to use as a handle. And you have the same again from your second fat quarter. So you've got your B piece, your A piece, and your C piece. So I'll now show you how to construct it. So you're going to have your 2 A pieces, which are your 10 by 14.5s, and you're going to take the opposite or coordinating fabric and put them together. So you are going to have your A and so we're going to say the first fat quarter fabric was 1, your second fat quarter fabric was 2, so you've got an A1 and a C2 and an A2 and a C1, and you're going to put them wrong side together, clip those, and you are going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance down the side of that. So just clipping these into place. That's one. Now normally I am a lazy sewer, so I probably wouldn't have clipped like this, but to keep everything square and visually appealing for the video, I'm gonna keep it like that. Okay, so now I'm going to take this to the sewing machine. And so now on my little homemade tabletop ironing board, this was my very first sewing project, and I literally made that from no pattern at all, clearly, and I just can't seem to throw it away because it was my first ever off the cuff homemade thing. Anyway, and this is my press, my depressed as I call him, but I think I've just named him Grumpy because I you know, I relate to him so much sometimes. I have resting bee face a lot of the time, so he just reminds me of me, and I've called him a he for no apparent reason. So anyway, by the by, so we're gonna press this open. Sorry, we're gonna set the seam first. So pressing that seam, and then we are going to press to the purple side just so that the white doesn't have any visible seams coming from it underneath it. So pressing that, and same on the other one. So see, one day I'll be able to get myself a sewing machine that you just click that button and it cuts those threads. But for now, I make do with what I've got, and I know I'm blessed with what I've got, so therefore I am happy with what I've got. Okay, so setting the seam and pressing even to the purple side, so pressing that down, and pressing means pressing, not running your iron across it and stretching it and doing whatever else. It's up and down, up and down. We have AC1 and AC2. That's what we're calling it, and if you're following my pattern on my blog, that's what it will coincide with. What's now going to happen is this is the front of your bag. Oh, well, this is the front of my bag. So this is my AC1, which is going to be the front of my bag. AC2 is going to be the interior lining. So actually, if I put that up this way, then inside it will be white with a little purple strip and purple and white on the outside. I'm going to line those up together, and I'm going to cut 2.5 inches across the top of AC1 and AC2. Okay, so lining this up with 2.5 and cutting straight across. Check twice, cut once. I think that's the rule of most sewers, is check twice, cut once. So now we have AC1 1 or I, AC1 2 or 2 I's, AC2 1 or AC2I, and AC2 2. Trust me, it makes sense once you look. Put the big pieces to one side, and we're going to work with the top 2 pieces. AC1 1, your zipper, which will open from left to right, upside down. So watch, upside down. So zipper side facing down or wrong side up. Like that. And then AC2 1, you're going to put those sides together. So I'm going to pin this down. I'm going to change my foot on my sewing machine to a zipper foot, and I am going to zip. I'm not going to zip. I'm not going to zip. I'm going to sew. I'm going to sew down this side. So if you were looking at it, it would be your bottom, the bottom of that, those 2 panels. So I was meant to iron on the interfacing, but not to worry. If you've also forgotten, I'll show you how to do it without, as in doing it a different step. That's because I'm too eager to get this done. So, okay, so again, that's all clipped now in place, and you're going to use a zipper foot and sew across here, all the way across. So back in with Grumpy. And so that's the 1/4 inch seam allowance you've just done. So you open that up and you hold onto the zip and pull those together, and those need to be pressed away from the zip, and that is your top part of your bag front panel complete. So we're just going to press that. So again, setting the seam, and the other side pressing down and away, and those are now wrong sides together. Sorry, just knocked the camera flying. And obviously anything that's misaligned we will trim down there'll be a seam allowance as well in there somewhere, so don't worry. Front, outside panel, face up, right side up, top panel of the zip, so it will go like that once it's open and finished. So you want that face down across the top line, top edge, sorry. And then you want the lining to be, again, face down, so you've got a nice little sandwich. I want to make sure that the seams are kind of either nested or just as straight as you can get them. I'm going to clip across there, sew with a zip foot there. I'm going to flip the lining over, take the top panel and like kind of fold that down, so the lining is now on the inside, the outside is like that, and it just needs pressing away from the zip, just pressing, not trying to manipulate the fabric in any way, because that's when things get misshapen. So just lifting, pressing, lifting, pressing, lifting, pressing. And actually I lied, it's not quite yet on the back because I had missed a step. So in my instructions, before you cut the top and before you attach the zip and things like that, you will have ironed on your interfacing, and then you kind of cut through the interfacing, so therefore there hopefully wouldn't be any overlap and things like that. But it's not the end of the world that I forgot to do that, because I can now adapt it to just working with what I've got, etc. So I can see here, if the camera's picking it up, it's a sparkly side there. Sparkly, it's just shiny side, and that's a matte side. And the matte side is what you put the press on, and the shiny side is what you have face down. So I'm just going to use some scissors and I'm going to cut these, and I'm just going to go and check on the baby quickly because she is coughing out. Okay, so there I've trimmed it down, and I just now need to press that on the front. So pressing this down, shiny side down, make sure that is correct, otherwise you will regret sticking your press down on that, because it will ruin it. So just pressing this down. This is a medium weight interfacing, so has some nice stability and yet some flexibility with it too. And making sure that you're still pressing that seam down. So that's now the interfacing ironed on the wrong side of the front panel, and also I will have to now adapt this. Like I say, if you'd have ironed it on first before cutting, you wouldn't have to worry about any of this. But this is for forgetful people like myself. You can always iron it on after it. You can put that right up to the edge. Let's make this straight line. Right up to the edge where you've stitched the zip in. You can then fold over and cut and trim wherever you need to. And I will iron that on inside there, and then I shall have a nice stable front panel. And so again, shiny side down, matte side top, and just pressing that down onto the top panel. And that will then stabilise the top cover. And now we're on to the back panels. Do anything else, I am going to iron on the interfacing onto the back outside panel, which is this one. We're going to have the inside lining. We are going to have, so that's the front of your bag because it's left to right is the opening. So inside you have your lining. So you are going to put the lining against the other lining, and your front panel outer fabric is face up. And then you're going to come in, and this is the outside back panel, and that isn't going face down or wrong side up over the top. So you have two sandwiches. You have the outer back and the outer front right sides together, and you have your inside lining front and back right sides together. But you are going to clip the top of this, and you're going to do a 1/4 inch stitch, top stitch all the way across. While I was doing my clipping together of the seam, I realised, hold on, I have a piece of fabric here which I had put to one side to make a handle. So if you've never seen how this works for binding, but basically fold the fabric in half, press, unfold it, fold the two sides of the fabric into that middle crease, press, and then you're going to fold it in half and press again. And we are now going to sew along that edge. I would say 1/4 inch, but it's not that wide, so just close to the edge, and then the same on the other side. And when we sew this all together, we can either have the handle on the side. I kind of like it towards the side that I can unzip, so it's going to hang like that. However, when you put it there, it kind of just blends in, so I'm going to leave that up to personal preference for you. But basically you're going to want to have it in the sandwich before you sew the top together. So I'm going to probably put it there, clip it down. I'll then put the outside back panel on top, right sides together, and that will go over the top of that, and I can just sew that down. You can see the stitching line down that side, and then to do it on the opposite side kind of just finishes it off. And now we are going to add this handle to about there. I reckon that's about right, because there's going to be, obviously it's going to be enclosed, that's about right. So making sure that that's all together nicely, and then we're going to put the outside back panel wrong sides together and clip them down. Again, last time of saying, back and front outside panels are together, inside lining right sides together. But you're going to stitch all 4 pieces together across that top. So now we've stitched a 1/4 inch across the top here. Any eagle-eyed viewers will know that I've just done my nails now because I didn't like the chipped look, so I paused. So that's now the lining, and the inside lining over there. The handle has been successfully put into place. Everything's still zipping nicely as it should. Perfect. So now you have done your sandwich with the 4 layers, and we will eventually press that so that it's all nice and even and tidy. But first, the lining and the inside lining are going to go together. So come up your lining edges, and I'm going to clip this in place. And what you're going to do is you're going to leave about a 4-inch gap so that you can get your hand in. So I'd reckon that's about 4 inches. So you're clipping there, you are going to sew a 1/4 inch across here, stop here, back stitch, and leave the gap and start again sewing here, back stitch all the way across. Okay, so that's now a 1/4 inch across the top, and you have your gap for turning in there. So now you're going to flip it over, and you have now got your front panel and your back panel together, so right sides together, and you're going to pin across, pin or clip across the top here, and you're going to go straight across this time, so full 1/4 inch all the way across to secure that in place. And so now you have got a 1/4 inch the whole way across the front and back panels. You've got your 1/4 inch starting and stopping, starting and stopping with your gap for turning. Now before you do your next step, you want to make sure that your zip is now open to about halfway, if not more. So you want to make sure that that's open so that you can, when you put your hand through this gap, you can then put your hand through the zip gap, and you can start bringing it round the correct way. So before you do that, you now want to gather your layers back to being a four layer sandwich. Okay, and you're now going to clip both sides, or one side at a time, whatever, both sides together, keeping it as square as you can, making sure if you pin or clip here that your zip is as close to being zipped up as you can without having it zipped up. And you're then going to do a 1/4 inch seam all the way down both sides. So let's get the clips, and so just to make sure everything is all square, neat and tidy. And trim off any excess threads that I've got here. There we go, so that side's now ready to sew. So that is now 1/4 inch, and it worked fine. It went a bit wobbly over the zip, but it caught all layers, and once that's folded out, that will be straight anyway, so it's not a problem. And that's beautiful. So what we're going to do is we're going to trim off the excess zips, and then we are going to turn it. So just want to put down my cutting mat just so I can save my table, and run over that. And just before we turn, I have forgotten to say, we're going to trim off the corners and any excess threads. Do not cut your stitching. You want to cut away as much excess around the edges as you can, around the corners as you can, because once we turn we can get some nice tidy corners. Usually push through with, I usually use a crochet hook and push through each of the corners just using that. So there you go. Now is the fun bit, we get to turn. So gonna get the, so just to show you that this is normal, so this is the front and back pieces sewn together, this is the 2 lining pieces sewn together, this bit is not meant to be sewn together, okay, just so you know. And then you're going to put your hand in your space. You're going to find that open zip, there it is, and you're going to grab a corner and just carefully pull that through. When I say carefully, you don't have to be overly gentle with it. You can be quite rough with it, but just you know, gentle but firm. You know how you're supposed to talk to children, gently but firmly. Okay, so that's inside already, and that is my lining, is the correct way out. And now we need to turn that bit inside out by pushing that through. Just basically just keep folding and twisting and moving things around until it is how it needs to be. Okay, so let's get the crochet hook, just a regular crochet hook. Don't use something too sharp or pointy because you'll end up just pushing through the corners that you've taken so long to secure in. So don't do that. And just again gently but firmly pushing on the excess fabric to get that corner out. And I like the rounded edges. I can show you another tutorial where you can make it so that they're square edges, or you know, corners if you like. Just pushing that through. Okay, so now the inside, I tend to just gather those edges in, might press it slightly so that they stay nicer together, and then just run over with a 1/4 inch stitch. So that's pressed. just like that, and we're going to do a quick 1/4 inch seam allowance over that gap and bury that back inside the bag. Needle in. And I'm going to go all the way across to there, so it's a good 4 inches there that needs going over. So that's the lining now fully secure. Trim off the excess thread and pop that back inside. And there we have it. Almost finished. So we've brought in Grumpy again. Now this is going to require a much bigger, better press with a full-on iron, or if you have one, a pressing machine, but for now I'm just going to give it a quick press so that you can kind of see what it looks like once you have finished the main part of the sewing, and you're done, pretty much done. It's about half an hour. It's taken me longer because I'm changing camera angles and doing all sorts of stuff in the background, but actually when I put this all together, it'll be about half hour, and then I can store all of my cross stitch and sewing projects or whips, and then I'm happy bunny because everything's organised. So do let me know in the comments if I made this tutorial clear enough. It might be that I need to clarify a few things. In fact, this press has done quite a good job. Just for as little as it is, it's done pretty good on this job of pressing the project bag finished. So may not even need the bigger press. Yeah, I'm quite impressed. I'm quite impressed with the press. I'm quite impressed with the depressed press. You'd think that would put a smile on your face, but clearly not. Yes, I'm aware that I do go a bit doolally with my jokes sometimes. Anyway, okay, guys, that is a finished project bag, zippered, fully lined, and just lovely, beautiful. I'm thinking I might stick some HTV on this as well, just in true Lottie Love style, because I can never just have things plain and whatever else. Anyway, so that's it. That's how easy that project bag is. This project bag pattern is on my blog for free. I've also just given you the full instructions on the video, so you may not need to visit, but if you need it written, that's where you'll find it.
So if you've made it this far through the video, I thank you so much for taking the time to be with me here in my craft space, and I'll see you soon.